Cross to Madhav. Madhav, this is very disturbing because it's not just a peaceful protest as this masked man has said, but it is a dire protest. You're not welcome, and if you come here, then Hindus will face the wrath. An unambiguous warning.
Well, what kind of peaceful protest, also is a threat that is issued to certain political parties and factions? That's certainly a very, very important question, that those who are saying that this has been a result of Hindu extremism, particularly yesterday, we have seen that kind of discourse also, in fact, and questions being asked. And this raises some very, very serious questions. The point is that at a place of worship, is that the location to register one's protest? And if this has happened, if there are issues or grievances that have happened, why not approach the local law and order machinery or protest at a neutral location to register your protest? Is it necessary to take a protest physically to a place of worship? That itself is a very, very important question. Secondly, what is being alleged is that there was an attempt to reach the gate and enter that particular place of worship is also a question that can be seen, because there are those who are inside that place of worship, there are those who are outside from a different faith who are seen attempting to enter. So questions will certainly arise, because yesterday, in fact, when the videos of the temple being attacked, flags being broken, and in fact various religious symbols being attacked were put out from Leicester, there were those who questioned whether this was a result of Hindu extremism and aggression, whereas they completely refused to look at what was happening at the hand of Hindus who were in fact at the receiving end of the violence as well. While it is for the police to ultimately establish who actually started the violence, the question that we are simply asking is this, that can anybody jump to conclusions to blame any one particular side for incidents that may have occurred? We do know that this issue has been festering there for quite some time now, since the India-Pakistan match took place, and which side actually went ahead and provoked which side. All of that is a subject matter of investigation. The police have arrested dozens of individuals. They're going ahead and taking legal action against them when it comes to Leicester. But when it comes to Birmingham, I think the picture gets even clearer, because this kind of an unprovoked sort of protest or attack, or whatever one chooses to call it, or threats that are being issued, it's all there, it's all been captured on camera, and certainly, of course, raising more serious questions, perhaps even than Leicester, where the initial round of violence took place.
Well, this is very, very disturbing, because these threats are real. And Madhav, the fact that there are Allahu Akbar chants, these are also pious chants which Muslims hold very dear to themselves, are now being used to threaten another community, very clearly injecting the Hindu-Muslim angle into these attacks.
Well, there are many who would say that if there were Jai Shri Ram chants and they found them objectionable, what would they say about these chants? At the end of the day, chants are chants. But of course, going ahead and taking law and order into one's own hands, issuing threats, or even carrying out physical violence, that's where, in fact, it becomes extremely problematic. And certainly, of course, questions that are to be asked, that even in the United Kingdom, whether this kind of behavior is going to be condoned, is strict action not going to be taken, and anyone who has broken the law, irrespective of whichever community he or she may belong to, can this kind of behavior at any level be justified? Those are some very serious questions that certainly will have to be answered. And certainly, of course, for political parties, they may choose to look at the events and interpret them as to their suitability. The entire fact that these things are happening outside of Indian soil is going to raise some very serious questions as to what really is transpiring, and whether in fact false narratives are being peddled when it comes to the events that are taking place in the UK are concerned.
But then, Madhav, is the UK government, is the Birmingham police, for example, done enough? Because the Indian embassy has stepped up and has raised concerns over these targeted attacks which are happening on symbols of Hinduism. However, it seems that they have failed to actually ensure that they stop.
Well, when it comes to Leicester, we've seen the local MPs, we've seen the police come out and issue several statements. They've made a number of arrests in Leicester. And as you rightly said, the Indian High Commission also expressing its concern about the kind of incidents that have taken place, particularly, of course, the violence that has taken place when it comes to one particular temple there in Leicester is concerned. When it comes to Birmingham, we have seen a fresh set of videos that have just been out over the last few hours. And certainly, of course, we are going to be contacting the agencies and bring you more updates as to what the police and other authorities in that particular area say. Thankfully, the kind of incidents of violence that we saw in Leicester were not repeated.
Right.
But the kind of threats and the kind of statements that are coming out in the public domain certainly are very problematic, and we will, of course, be reporting for our viewers on exactly what the police in those locations are doing as well.
Well, let me go across to Rahul Ishwar, an ideologue who's joining us. Rahul Ishwar, these are very, very disturbing because initially they said it's about an India-Pakistan match. Then they said that there is some kind of a fracas between two communities. But now we see a purported pattern behind these attacks, which are happening in different parts of United Kingdom. And very clearly now, no one can deny that it is symbols of Hinduism which is under attack. Rahul Ishwar.
Let us not sugarcoat it. Let us not be blind towards it. We need to call out hate, and especially hate against Hindu community on a foreign soil will definitely spiral and definitely create more issues. I hope these things will solve, and more joint efforts of Hindu-Muslim unity and Hindu-Muslim joint statements should be welcome, because at the end of the day, these people are leaving their homeland and motherland to stay in another nation, to work, to build their careers, to have their children and family. So whatever happened was unfortunate. It's very important that there should be truth before reconciliation. So that truth and reconciliation should happen. Understand that Hindu community was attacked, and if there are any kind of disturbances that happen to both communities, it should end, and hatred should end.
That's a very important point that you have raised. First, there needs to be truth, then reconciliation. First, there needs to be acceptance that yes, indeed, Hindus are on target. Only then can the process of reconciliation, which is equally important, must begin immediately. Thank you so much, Rahul Ishwar. In fact, we are telling you about that masked man that you can see on the right-hand side of your screens, making dire threats against RSS, BJP and Hindus at large. Listen in.
Yo, this is a message from Birmingham to all the BJP and the RSS Hinduhate supporters. You're not welcome in Birmingham, you're not welcome in Leicester, you're not welcome in Nottingham, you're not welcome anywhere in the UK. None of your speakers, anyone you're trying to call these hate speakers that come down, we're going to turn up for all of them. So stop organising. We're here now, outside the Mandir. It's a peaceful protest, we're not causing no trouble. But we turned up just to let you know, if you come down, we're all going to be here for you. Look, show them, look around, even the speakers cancelled. Look how many men have turned up. We've got no issue with Hindus that are from Britain. We've got no issue with British Hindus. We grew up with them, we know all of them. But the rest of you BJP, RSS freshies, if you come in, you're going to get met by us every single time. So if you want to come to Birmingham, Leicester, Nottingham, London, just give us a time and a place and we're there. Yo, this is a message from Birmingham to all the BJP and the RSS Hinduhate supporters. You're not welcome in Birmingham, you're not welcome in Leicester, you're not welcome in Nottingham, you're not welcome anywhere in the UK. None of your speakers, anyone you're trying to call these hate speakers that come down, we're going to turn up for all of them. So stop organising. We're here now, outside the Mandir. It's a peaceful protest, we're not causing no trouble. But we turned up just to let you know, if you come down, we're all going to be here for you. Look, show them, look around, even the speakers cancelled. Look how many men have turned up. We've got no issue with Hindus that are from Britain. We've got no issue with British Hindus. We grew up with them, we know all of them. But the rest of you BJP, RSS freshies, if you come in, you're going to get met by us every single time. So if you want to come to Birmingham, Leicester, Nottingham, London, just give us a time and a place and we're there.
Well, let me go across to Ratan Nigam also, who's joining us. So your understanding of what seems to be a concerted push to intimidate and threaten Hindus, and this is not just in one place, either Leicester or Birmingham, several reports coming in from other parts as well. Do you think, or what do you think is the larger pattern behind this bigotry?
See, the larger pattern is very self-evident. Islamic extremism and terrorism, they are all interlinked. The post-match clashes that took place only was an excuse that cricket is the reason where they started, attacking Hindus. Their goal is larger because there they think we are kafirs and they take inspiration from holy scriptures. And if you recall also, there are no-go zones in Britain and Muslim areas where others cannot enter. and Sharia courts are running the illegal court system out there, and that is the serious situation even in England. They don't realize exactly this is the way things started in India, and ultimately India had to be partitioned. So there is a pattern, and that pattern seems to be very clear. These are Paki citizens, and involvement of ISI is also there. There is also an allegation that the overseas wing of Congress is also involved out there.
Okay.
So there has to be a larger conspiracy. It cannot be spontaneous. It appears to be well financed with the local elements in England. Their Muslim MPs and others seems to be involved because they are getting regular supports from there. And they don't, such people don't do protests in Saudi Arabia or in UAE because they are immediately deported because the law is very strict. And they take very strict action.
So a free run, you think, has been given by UK as well, because the Indian High Commission has raised this matter and said that it's unacceptable, but these protests are continuing.
Yes, absolutely. Such soft handling of such, derogatory, threatening, intimidating and kind of extremist and terrorist kind of attacks has to be dealt with iron hand. And it appears there is some kind of a, involvement of the local elements also, probably from the administration itself. Otherwise, things like that cannot happen. And that is at
Mr. Nigam, now it's important for us to understand, because there are many here in India, including TMC spokesperson, who are coming out and said that this is a reaction to the Hindutva push and against Hindutva radicalism. What would you say to those people?
See, Hindutva means secularism. Hindutva never says that you call somebody a kafir or somebody has to be eliminated. We believe in our ethos and we say everybody's mode of worship is welcome, and there are various ways of reaching God. We believe in spirituality and looking inward in finding the divine source within ourselves, whereas the others look at outside. So that is the major difference, and we are by nature secular.
Okay.
We never attack anybody on, and therefore this
Yes,
is
Hindus are peace-loving people. However, this kind of opposition that they have faced, well, we'll have to wait and hope that it is going to be clamped down with an iron fist. Thank you so much, Mr. Nigam, for joining us.